Greetings, lovely citizens, Qutatron here. I am currently in 4.1.1 PTU, and this patch brings a lot of changes to components, completely shaking up the old meta of mixing stealth and competition components. Stealth shields have received a massive nerf, but they are still very useful, especially for stealth builds. You can't do a stealth build, stealth loadout, without stealth components. And in other hand, stealth coolers still are very valuable. At last it's worth hunting for military components, but that doesn't mean there aren't valuable alternatives. High HP is no longer the only advantage of military components. Industrial shields and power plants are once again becoming a solid and easily accessible choice. But competition components will have to wait until coolers finally have a real purpose, since their biggest advantage is high cooling efficiency, but still they can be very useful in certain situations. What really surprised me is that civilian components can actually be very helpful when balancing your loadout, and in some cases they can even become a part of meta builds, which is very interesting. Are these changes positive? I believe they are, because many more types of components are now useful. We have much more creative freedom than before when we are building our loadouts, and much more of the components we loot in-game will be actually very valuable. What is interesting, there is no single universal setup for every ship. You need to tailor your components to your ship's stats and intended use. A daily driver in Pyro will need a different loadout than a ship used in PvE combat, and PvP fighter will have even different loadout. In today's video, I show you a few loadouts I've put together with the help of Hercule.games to help you to decide what type of components you will need in 4.1.1 patch. Let's start with starter ships. I chose, of course, Drake Cutter because this is the easiest loadout to do. If you are using Drake Cutter, you probably want to have a little stealthy transport from place to place, especially if you are playing in Pyro. What is really important if you are doing your own loadout? You don't really need the most powerful power plant with plenty of power. You don't really need the most powerful shield, but of course shield HP is still very important. But you need to balance everything to match your playstyle. For example, first thing we always need to do if we have a small ship like a Drake Cutter, we need to reduce signature and power consumption. So, first thing I like to change is cooler, and still coolers are not working properly in game, they are still kinda placeholders. So just sort all of this like this, clicking on power max. We have here stealth components, stealth coolers, because stealth coolers drain the smallest amount of power, and we choose vapor block because vapor block have the lowest signature from all stealth coolers available in shops. If you have Snowblind already because you got it in the game, go for it. But I will stick to the components available in shops. And as we see, we have plenty of power. We have full power to the shield, to the engines and to the weapons, and still we have 3 pips left. But signature can be a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's go for stealth power plants. Let's sort it like this, clicking on EM per segment, and let's use Delta Max Stealth Grade B power plant. Stealth power plants have very low power production, only 13 pips, but still this is more than enough. We have 2 pips left, and signature is much lower than cross-section signature. You really want to be below this cross-section signature, especially for Drake Cutter, which can be stealthy and should be stealthy in my opinion. But still, we have too much power and we have a little bit less signature, and we can spend a little bit more signature to get, for example, better shield. And the best shields right now are industrial shields because of highest full HP, and military shields because of highest regen rate. So as we see, this FR66 have 211 regen rate, and the best industrial shield Palisade have 156 regen max, but higher full HP. Industrial shields have also highest EM signature, but still we try to use Palisade. This is the best industrial grade A small shield, and as we see, EM signature is still lower than cross section. On top of that, we can upgrade guns. For example, for attrition 2, signatures are still pretty low. Now let's change to the nav mode. As we see, signature in nav mode is higher, much higher. So maybe we could lower it a little bit. If we're talking about a Quantum Drive, standard Quantum Drive in Drake Cutter is Foxfire Competition Grade B. Let's look at the Quantum Drives. Let's sort this first by signatures. Of course, the lower signatures had stealth Quantum Drives. We try to find the Quantum Drive, the stealth Quantum Drive with the highest max distance. So this is Drift Stealth C Quantum Drive. And this is complete stealth loadout for Drake Cutter. This could be my go-to loadout for playing in Pyro, and Cutter is very interesting choice for this. But if you want to change, for example, Quantum Drive for something faster or more efficient, you can do it. Let's select max distance, and the best choice in my opinion is Vulcan, have higher distance and have as well very good speed, but in other hand have a highest cooldown rate. So if you are frustrated by waiting for your Quantum Drive to cool down, maybe better to choose civilian version. If we choose Vulcan, the EM signature is very high. So something for something. You don't need to use nav mode every time. If you want to be sneaky, just switch to the SCM mode and your signatures are much lower. So this, I think, is the best choice if you want to do everything in your cutter, and if you are a new player or if you are doing 0 to hero challenge. In my opinion, this is go-to loadout for almost every cutter in the verse. At least if you don't want to have full stealth loadout with stealth quantum drive. But let's change ship. Not everyone like to fly in cutter. Ships like Aurora have 2 shields and only 1 power plant, and can have more weapons than cutter. So power distribution is completely different. If you like to use Titan, the situation is very similar. You have more guns, you have 2 shields, only 1 power plant, and 2 coolers. So this is second type of starter ships. Let's change it. Let's delete 1 cooler. Let's use vapor block for 1 only stealth cooler in this Titan. You can, for example, change this Revenant for size for Omnisky cannon. I really like Omnisky's cannon, so let's leave it like this. This is definitely a PvE loadout, and in my opinion it's more than enough. Okay, we have 2 industrial grade C shields. Pretty powerful shields. But signature is still too high. If you want to use your Titan mainly for PvE combat, for example for MRTs, you can leave it like this or even upgrade it to Palisades. And as we see, we have 4480 shield HP. We can change power plant for something more powerful. The most powerful power plants right now are military grade A power plants, 17 pips, but we can also use industrial power plants, for example, with 16 pips, or maybe Lunacore. Lunacore have much lower HP pool for component, but also have 16 pips, and signature of Lunacore is much lower than in case of military and industrial components. So Lunacore is very good choice. Competition grade A power plant. Still very useful. And just like this, we have full power to the shield, almost full power to the engines, and full power to the weapons. Signature is little bit high, but still not too high, and in my opinion this is great loadout if we're talking about PvE combat. But if you want to make your Titan a little bit more stealthy because you are playing in Pyro, you need to change something. And in this case, we try to find better power plant. Civilian power plants, as you see, have even lower EM signature. Of course, if you find Slipstream Stealth A power plant, it will be the best. But for example, civilian grade B power plant could be not bad, and we change Palisade. Also, let's sort it by EM max, and as we see, stealth shields have the lowest signatures, but right next are civilian, and the best civilian shield is Concord. We can always try Targa competition C, but Concord have much higher pool HP. Okay, as we see, it's much better right now. We can lower the signatures a little bit more, for example by changing this Omnisky for Revenant. And if you lower your engines by 1 pip, EM signature is just under the cross-section signature. So this is your stealth Avenger Titan. Having Titan, you can have 2 very good builds, and it's depending on what do you really want to do in the verse. Now let's check out a little bit bigger ships. I have here Cutlass Black, and first I want to change is weapon loadout. I put NDBs everywhere. They are not too hard to get in the verse if you find abandoned ship. Of course, I want to change this panther on the turret for example, shredders. It's good to have ballistics on your manned or remote turrets if you are playing solo. These weapons will not drain your energy. Next thing, of course, coolers. Let's use Icebox Grade B Stealth Size 2 cooler. Let's delete this other one. We always want to have only one stealth cooler, if it's possible. And as we see, we still need a little bit more power. Maybe we need a little bit better shield. We still have some signatures to spend, because cross-section of Cutlass Black is much bigger, so we can add something nice. The best power plant available in shops is Genoa Industrial Grade A. We have plenty of power here, 20 pips. We definitely want to change this shield for something better. Rampart is the best choice if you want to go and do some PvE combat. And to be honest, we still don't have too high signatures like this. So, Grade A Industrial Power Plant and Grade A Industrial Shield is the best choice for Cutlass Black, or, to be honest, any other Cutlass. And we can even lower a little bit power to the cooler and put it to the engines, and we have full power to the weapons, engines and shields, and we have 6170 shield HP because of Rampart. And yeah, this is your Cutlass Black, really straightforward. Let's look at something more difficult to optimize. Zeus Mark II CL. And Zeus's have much lower signatures, cross-section signatures than Cutlass. Only 10k, this is pretty low for such a big ship. ES have a little bit higher signature, so let's stick to the CL, the cargo variant. And now, as we see, heat signature and power signature is very, very high, and EM signature is very, very high. Let's change these Panthers to the Shredders. Now we have here Industrial Grade C shields. Pretty nice shields, but with very high signatures. Let's, for example, create stealthy Zeus. As always, Icebox, so single stealth Grade B cooler, and signatures are going low right now. We have two power plants. Let's try to do it with two stealth Grade C power plants. And let's change this size to shields. We have 3 of them. Let's choose, for example, Obscura's stealth Grade C. And as we see, we have almost stealthy Zeus, where we can't really do too much. Maybe we can delete one of the shields like this, or maybe we can change this Omniskies for Revenants, and if we lower enough power to the engines, we have stealthy build for Zeus MK II CL. Great choice if you want to really have a medium ship and go to Pyro and do your ground missions there. Zeus can be very useful because of lower signatures, and still you have nice big medium ship with option of carrying cargo or ground vehicles. And in my opinion, this is the best choice for Zeus, unless you really don't want to do, for example, PvE combat in Zeus, but with only 2 size 4 guns for pilot, I don't think it's a good thing to do. Better to choose Cutlass. Okay, what about fighters? Here we have this beautiful Gladius. Let's build first purely a PvE combat ship. Let's change this Mantis for example, NDB. Let's change everything for NDBs. Lovely. Now we have two military grade C shields, which are not too bad, but still this is only grade C shield. Let's change it for Palisade. We have Regulus, very good power plant, military grade C with 15 pips, but still we can do some upgrades. We can use, for example, Lunacore again. And of course, single stealth cooler. And this is our PvE Gladius. We don't have full power to the engines, but this is not so important if you are using this for PvE combat. If you are PvPer, you probably need to change these shields, because you want to have full power to the shields, but you don't want to have so high EM signature, and you definitely want to have full power to the engines. If we change one of these shields, because right now we have almost 4,500 HP here, if we change one of these shields, for example, to stealth, let's use Shimmer. Signatures are pretty low, we have full power to everything and 3,290 HP in shield. But if we change it for Concord, which is civilian grade A, let's change two shields for Concords. We have bigger HP pool for shield and still very low signature, about 10k. So, in my opinion, if you want to lower these signatures, still have reasonable amount of shield HP and full power to the weapons, engines and shields, using Concord's grade A civilian shields is the best choice. And in my opinion, these shields can be part of meta build for PvP. If you are a PvPer, please tell me in the comment what do you think about this, but in my opinion, this is well balanced build for PvP Gladius. But let's change this ship for something little bit chunkier. Let's go for Anvil F7C Hornet MK II. I chose F7C because it's available in shops in-game in Loreville. So let's go for it. Let's use nose turrets. You can find steel ball turrets from F7A. Let's put here, for example, NDBs. Here we can put size 2 NDBs, and Revenants can stay. Or maybe if you really want to, you can change it for size 4 Omniskies. And this will be your PvE build for Hornet Mark II F7C. I have full attrition loadout in my F7C with mix of Ardor repeaters and attrition size 4, but it's not the best if you are fighting with small and nimble targets even in PvE. But it's very good if you are doing HRTs or VHRTs in Hornet. But okay, weapons are not the most important thing. The most important things are components. So we have some military grade C components here. We definitely still want to change this coolers for single vapor block. Now, because we have two power plants, we can, without any problems, change this for something stealthy. I am using double Delta Max Stealth grade B power plants here, and we can change these two shields for Palisades. So we have max shield, max weapons and almost maxed power to the engines. This is my go-to PvE build for Hornet Mark II, as we see. And if you are PvPer, you probably want to change these shields for something different to have full power to the weapons and shields. Or maybe if you want to go stealthy, you probably buy Saber, not Hornet. I changed one Palisade for Concord. We have still almost 4000 HP in shields. We have everything else maxed out. You of course can go for military components if you find something on Hathor or something. But in my opinion, this is meta build using of course available in shops components like this. But what about heavy fighters? Let's use for example a Guardian. Guardian have unfortunately negative effects for signatures, so in my opinion it's good only for PvE combat. It's heavy fighter, so you can't really PvP in heavy fighters right now. So I am choosing Rampart, the best shield for this task, and the most powerful power plants I can find. Lunacore size 1. We can lower the signatures at least a little bit, but if you want to have a bigger HP pool for your ship, so maybe better to choose industrial power plants. And of course let's change this size to cooler for icebox. And yeah, we still have very high EM signature here. We can't have full power to the engines, unfortunately, in Guardian, but in my opinion this loadout is very good if we're talking about PvE combat. And on top of this, if you want to grind this contracts again and again and you don't want to lose too much quantum fuel, let's find the best quantum drive with the highest max distance value. I choose Chimera Civilian Grade A quantum drive. Maybe it's not the fastest, but it's efficient and it's easy to get. That is our PvE Guardian. Okay, what about something even bigger? Let's look at this Starlancer Max. If you are flying solo in this ship, let's change it. Change these weapons on turrets for Revenants. If you have crew, maybe better to leave these laser repeaters, but I am solo player, so I change it for Revenants. And this is pretty simple stuff. We don't have any stealth components for size 3 components, only for size 2. So let's change this cooler for icebox. Let's delete the second one. Actually, we have very nice power plants here installed already, so you need to know what do you have installed in your ship. We have very nice shield, but we can upgrade it for parapet, the most powerful shield available in shops, and the most powerful shield in the game, size 3 shield, of course, if we're talking about amount of HP. And this is, in my opinion, the best loadout for ships like Starlancer Max, Drake Corsair, Constellation. You don't really can be very stealthy here, but at least you can be tanky and you can have full power to the weapons, engines and shield. As a bonus, we can try to do Drake Vulture, and flying such ship like Drake Vulture, you really want to be somewhat stealthy, but we have 3 industrial shields here, and these shields are pretty good, not bad at all. You definitely can use the standard loadout, only deleting this one cooler or changing the second one for vapor block. And as we see, we have full power to the shields, almost full power to the engines. This is pretty good loadout, but still we have very high signature. So maybe let's change this shields to shimmers. Okay, we are almost there. We have too much power right now, so we can change this power plants for something else. Let's use double delta max shields, and as we see, our EM signatures dropped dramatically, and we still have 2 pips. So maybe we can change this at least one shimmer for something better. For Palisade. And that was good choice. But maybe we use 2 Concords. Even 3 Concords. Yes, very good. So, again, using Grade A civilian shields, we have, in my opinion, meta stealth build for another small ship, in this case Vulture. So as we see, these beautiful shields can be very useful. And as we see, I was talking so long that it's dark already. So let's go to my ship and let's get out of here. Please tell me in the comment, what do you think about new changes in components in 4.1.1? If you have better idea for different loadouts, please of course tell me in the comment. And if you are not subscribing yet, please consider subscribing. It will help me a lot. And that's everything for today. As always, thanks for watching, have a great day, and bye-bye.